Yes.
I'm Valeria. Nice to meet you, Mr.
Thank you.
So, I hope you didn't have trouble finding my office. Would you like a cup of coffee or water?
I'll take some water. Thank you.
Okay. So, as I said, I am Valeria Diego, and a little bit more about my position. I am the senior manager under Deloitte Human Capital. I focus on recruitment, and one of my major roles is to be actively attentive for potential clients. I introduce them to the projects and persuade them to get involved with us. First of all, I'd like to thank you for being on time. I know traffic can be a little bit hectic in the morning, so thank you. Alright, so let me tell you how this interview will be structured. I will be asking typical behavioral questions, one case question, and a couple of questions referring back to your resume. And at the end, there will be time for you to ask any questions or if you want me to clarify anything.
Sounds good.
Before we get started, can I get a copy of your resume, please?
Yeah, of course.
Perfect. First, I would like to begin by asking you how much you know about Deloitte and why you're interested to work under Human Capital.
Yeah. I mean, of course, as you know, I interned with Deloitte last summer, so I already love the company. I love what Deloitte does. As a whole, I know you guys have like a big accounting part, but a consulting part, which is of course what I'm applying for. I think that's really interesting for me. I've always liked consulting and helping other people with and companies with their problems, and I feel like I don't know, I kind of have a nudge for it. Pretty good.
So, customer service and client satisfaction is one of our main priorities here at Deloitte. And what are some ways that you will be ensuring that your client is pleased with your work and service?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think first of all, one of the most important things is always knowing that you understand the problem or the question, and also the client's necessities and needs. So I think it's always important to just like, don't be afraid to ask the client if you actually understand the problem that they have, so you can actually have a nice foundation to structure all your solutions and your work moving on forward on a solid base. So I think that's one of the most important parts, and also, of course, just having good communication with the client and with your team throughout while you're solving the case.
So moving on to the case question, in this section you will be able to demonstrate your application skills. So,
Okay, take notes.
yes, please. So we are working with an agency that provides financial and other forms of support to veterans, those with disabilities, and as well as the orphaned. So overall, those with financial hardships. This agency oversees payment distribution, funds and records management, as well as educational benefits, which are the typical programs Human Capital handles. But over the next 10 years, the agency faces an expansion of customers. And so the strategy office has asked Deloitte to formulate a 10-year vision plan to develop to change a management strategy. So what steps should Deloitte take in order to develop a strategic roadmap for the agency?
Okay, so just to make sure that I understand the question. So basically the client is a company that provides financial support to people with hardships, and they are trying to do like a customer expansion for the next 10 years. So you basically want like a strategy to implement this plan throughout the next 10 years?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I think that one of the most important things, as I mentioned before, is make sure that you understand the problem, sort of like I did right now. So the first thing would be do some sort of like due diligence in the company. So go ahead and ask people in all the different levels and what they think the current problems are that would not let them reach this customer expansion that they want for the next 10 years. And ask people from all the different levels, so top management, like CEO, CFO, like COO, but also ask people like the normal managers and maybe even the operators in the company, people who can give you some different insights as to like what's going on regarding the people in the company. And then the next step I think would be to take a look at the actual official documents in the company, so you know how the company is doing on paper and like how they're doing money-wise and their financials and all the official parts of the company. So once you know these two things, you probably will have a pretty good grasp of where the company is standing in the present state. So after this, you'll probably want to start formulating a solution. But as consultants like to say, you don't want to reinvent the wheel. So instead of formulating a solution from scratch, I'll probably first go and take a look at some case studies from before, or ask a previous senior manager or partner who has dealt with these types of problems what they've done before in similar situations, so we can just take their strategies and apply them to here. And once you know all that, I think the development of the solution will be kind of easy, and they would just have to implement it and roll it out.
I really like your responses. They pretty much correlate and overlap to the strategies we would take as a company. Okay, now I will be moving on to questions regarding your resume. As you have mentioned before, you've held an intern position here with us over the summer, so you've been exposed to the work ethic and the overload that it is to work here. As you know, we frequent with companies such as Apple, HP, Discovery Channel, as well as Google, to name a few. And could you possibly elaborate on some essential skills that you have gained or polished throughout your internship with us?
Of course. I think one of the most important skills is just not being afraid to ask for help. Because, of course, I still haven't graduated, and I'm just about to graduate, but I think I know a lot of things, but most of them are theoretical, so all the practical experience, people in the company already have it. So what I learned is any small question, as dumb as it may seem, just ask someone. And I feel like Deloitte has a company culture that is really open to that, so people will always be there to help you, available to help you. Even if they're not available, I learned that everyone is open for a call, or even if it's just a 5-minute call or an email, and you will always find solutions to what you want. So I think that's the most important skill, just not being afraid to ask.
So on your resume, I see that you have listed various activities that you take part in during your leisure time. And if we were to offer you this position, knowing how demanding the tasks may be, how will you be able to balance your personal life with your obligations here at Deloitte?
Yes, I think prioritizing is the most important part. I do that currently with school as well. So I know I have different professional or school demands, as well as like my personal activities. I think you just have to be able to. You have to be able to get as most done in, of course, with the highest quality, but in the most efficiency possible. So, for example, if one day there's not too much work, maybe instead of staying extra time, you can just stay the normal amount of time, and then have time to go do your extracurriculars, and kind of prioritizing whatever is better to do at a specific time. And if there's some days where you have to stay late, then maybe that day I can try not to do my extracurriculars and focus on the job. So basically just prioritizing and knowing what time is better, what time I can allocate better to a specific activity to carry it out more efficiently.
Sounds good. So that finalizes my questions for you. Now, is there anything that you would like me to elaborate on or clarify?
Yeah, I was just wondering, the same way how I just said how I manage my days. How is a typical working day at Deloitte? Like, do you have time for your family as well, or is it, as people sometimes say about consulting, that it's just a lot of work every day?
It is a lot of work, but I think that Deloitte enhances a really healthy, balanced lifestyle. They offer workshops. They offer certain apps on the phone to make sure you're maintaining your daily tasks on top of your day. The pay is really well, so there's always time for me to be with my family and take trips. So I think overall Deloitte allows me to live a balanced lifestyle.
Okay, and that's just another question I had. Is how long is a typical project? What's the typical length of the project?
I would say it mainly depends on who you are working with. It also depends on the complexity of the project. So it can range from 2 to 3 months to over a year.
Okay, depending on
who you're working with and the problem itself.
Okay, sounds good. So I guess that's That's all the questions I have.
So yeah, it was a pleasure to meet you. You will be hearing back from us soon, so have a good day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.